how much damage has actually accumulated. But, towards the end, I remember seeing how swelled up his eyes were. And yeah, that big knee definitely took the spirit, that he had left. He's so skilled. It's just he's going to have a very big challenge, mentally and emotionally when it comes to,
Being reported is that he had 2 broken orbital bones and a broken nose. So both his eyes were broken and his nose was broken.
There has to be something to be said that when you have an athlete whose native tongue is not English, then the doctor should speak fluent Spanish because he can.
It's the pressure fight. Oh, my head, he hurt him. I mean, Ilia's face is just destroyed.
What happened to Ilia Topuria after that brutal night became almost as big a story as the fight itself. Following his devastating loss to Justin Gaethje, fans expected disappointment, but few anticipated the extent of the reported damage. As the first images and medical updates emerged, it became clear this was far from a routine recovery. Severe swelling, significant bruising around both eyes, and reports of facial fractures quickly became the biggest talking points across the MMA world. Many longtime fans admitted they had never seen Topuria leave a fight in such visibly battered condition.
That losing is not the end, losing is a lesson. Tonight I learned a very hard lesson.
I knew that was going to happen to him. Walking forward with their hands down on the opening bell, you're going to get walloped.
People saying that he reminds us of you and all that stuff.
No way, does he? He has the same tattoos, he says the same stuff.
I'm in front of you, son.
Shit! Right in front of you. Do something about it.
He does the same fucking movements.
Have they understood it? You have...
He was going to scream on the thing. I wish him well. He's all right. I like him.
That discussion quickly spread throughout the MMA world, not because fans were searching for excuses, but because vision is one of the most critical factors in a fight. Once a fighter's eyesight is compromised, judging distance, defending strikes, and making split-second decisions become far more difficult. Regardless of whether communication played a role, the situation sparked a broader debate about fighter safety. According to several elite fighters, however, the warning signs were visible long before the post-fight medical evaluation. They had already begun to appear during the opening stages of the bout.
Right here, shout out. One thing I was going to say about this is that when the doctor came in, I don't know if he speaks English or if he speaks Spanish or Espanol, but I think there has to be something to be said that when you have an athlete whose native tongue is not English, then the doctor should speak fluent Spanish because he can talk in his own language. And when you're fighting, you want to hear your own language. So when, Alexandre, when his brother, I probably said his name wrong, when his brother comes in, he speaks Spanish. When DDP fights, DDP in his corner, they speak Afrikaans, which is his native tongue. Even though they understand English, when you're in the middle of a fight, I want to hear my native tongue. I don't want to hear an outside language come into my brain. So I think next time, I don't know if this guy speaks Spanish or I'm assuming he speaks English, but I think they need to have the interpreter or somebody who's a doctor speak the native tongue of the athlete. But I'm glad they didn't stop it because this guy says, what figure you see? And he must say, uno. And then he was like, I said, I need one, motherfucker.
Looking back, the defeat is easier to understand. Not because Ilia Topuria suddenly became a lesser fighter, and not because Justin Gaethje simply got lucky. Many respected voices in MMA noticed that Topuria wasn't fighting the way he normally does. The feints, level changes, and constant adjustments that had made him so dangerous weren't as noticeable as usual. Instead, he found himself in front of one of the UFC's most experienced pressure fighters. Against many opponents, an aggressive approach might have been enough. Against Gaethje, however, every mistake carries a price, and by the championship rounds, the accumulated damage was becoming impossible to ignore.
Gaethje was closer to being finished than Topuria was, though. Gaethje's mindset is that, though. I've seen him saying, I just hope I'm alive after this. Like, every time I prepare to not get out of this.
Gaethje's a dog, though, because to get hit in the body
he's a dog.
and have somebody full mount trying to elbow you, we all know.
I know.
I think Ilia made the biggest mistake by going for that damn armbar.
At what point in the fight did you realize that Ilia's in trouble?
First round, because we saw Gaethje using that jab. In the second round, though he did hurt him, he was still getting tagged up a lot. I think he got hurt with an uppercut and a straight right hand. So I was like, if he he doesn't change this, and if you were getting touched like that from the beginning, it's not a good sign. That first minute, he didn't fake, he didn't level change it, he just walked right towards him. It reminded me of like a boxing sparring session.
When Gaethje sprawled on him and he stopped that shot, I said, oh, this is bad.
It didn't look like himself though. I'm not taking anything away from Gaethje, but saying how he usually fakes moves in the beginning.
How much money you lost on the bet?
I lost a lot of money there.
Ilia Topuria will look back and go, why didn't I let him up?
What about that 1 minute between the rounds? If Ilia had to come out with that 1 minute where they were looking at him and he said he couldn't see, Justin might have stopped him right then. Ilia had a full minute to completely recover that he should have gotten. Inexperienced doctor.
They overruled doctor who may not have been as experienced in this.
Mark said it was an inexperienced doctor. You gotta let them fight.
Gotta let them fight.
If they want to fight.
Dana White made it clear that Ilia Topuria's health was the top priority. Days later, Topuria's team confirmed that he had suffered non-displaced orbital fractures, but reported an encouraging recovery outlook. While the physical healing had already begun, many believe the greatest challenge in combat sports often comes after the body recovers, the mental process of returning with the same confidence and mindset.
Yeah, Ilia's in the hospital. He's busted up. You know, I'm not a doctor, but his eye looked like he probably has broken orbital. I don't know that's not a fact, but I'm just assuming. And my plans for him are to go home and rest and recover and take his time. And you know, tonight was a rough night for him. I just want to make sure he's healthy and good, and not even thinking about him fighting again. Just want him to go home and relax.
By that stage, the discussion had moved beyond broken bones and swollen eyes. Fans wanted to hear from the man who had inflicted the damage. Surprisingly, Justin Gaethje didn't celebrate Ilia Topuria's injuries or question his toughness. Instead, he praised Topuria's resilience and acknowledged how dangerous he remained throughout the fight. Gaethje also noted that injuries around the eyes present a unique challenge, affecting not only a fighter's physical condition, but also their confidence when returning to competition. Coming from the man who handed Topuria his first defeat, those comments carried even greater significance.
You know, when you're in there, you're not really focusing on their face and how much damage it has actually accumulated. But, you know, towards the end, I remember seeing how swelled up his eyes were. And yeah, that big knee definitely took the spirit, you know, that he had left. He's so skilled. It's just he's going to have a very big challenge, you know, mentally and emotionally when it comes to, you know, coming back and performing, but his skill level is second to none when it comes to his ability to, you know, pick his shots. And, you know, he's still one of the best. He just needs to understand that this is a crazy game. Anything can happen. And you got to go in there with a mentality like that. I feel like I'm going to fight again. I mean, that's what I feel inside my body. But, you know, I haven't made a choice. Yeah, I'm very interested to see what happens in that fight. Max definitely knocked me out, but I feel like I got that win back with the Ilia Topuria fight. I would love, you know, as I've stated hundreds of times publicly, I would love to punch Conor McGregor in the face. So yeah, I'm excited about that fight. I'm excited to be there and watch it.
Yeah, bro, like he's one of the only guys that you haven't had a chance to punch in the face.
Exactly. I mean, there's no doubt he's the biggest superstar in the sport, and so fighting a guy like that, you know, obviously does great things for me financially, and you know, for my legendary status and stuff like that.
Joe Rogan pointed out something many casual fans overlook. Orbital injuries don't just require time to heal. They can also affect a fighter's confidence, vision, timing, and reactions long after the swelling fades. That's why eye injuries are considered some of the most difficult setbacks in combat sports. Even so, Justin Gaethje maintained that Ilia Topuria remained a dangerous opponent until the very end, a level of respect that underscored just how competitive the fight truly was.
Are that he has 2 fractured orbitals and a broken nose. Just that alone, just the orbitals alone, like anytime you've got eye injuries, like anything severe with your eyes, long-term consequences vary. You know,
it's psychological.
Absolutely.
And your body heals.
And physical.
Yeah. The body is resilient.
Yeah. Like, I'm telling you,
broken bones make stronger bones. Like that is his orbital bones will be stronger.
It depends on where, though, Justin. The orbital bone, I had my orbital broken, and for 6 months I would do this and my tooth would move, and it's right where my sinus cavity is. You remember when you hit me with the spinning elbow?
Your tooth would move,
dude.
When you push
right
on
here,
your cheek.
And
those comments carried extra weight because they came from the man standing across the cage. Justin Gaethje admitted his hand and jaw were hurting, and he emphasized that Ilia Topuria remained dangerous until the final moments of the fight. Even after 4 grueling rounds, he never felt completely comfortable. That's what separates elite fighters. They recognize greatness in the opponents they defeat. While Gaethje focused on Topuria's resilience, Georges St-Pierre viewed the fight from a different perspective, drawing on his own experience with similar injuries to explain just how challenging that type of recovery can be.
Partners to try to drop you with body shots in the gym.
Yeah.
Is there any significance to that or anything?
He would have made $1,000 off of me tonight if that was the case. Yeah, I mean, it still hurts right now. That hurts. My hand hurts. My jaw hurts. He is a formidable opponent. He was so good and so dangerous. And I never really I didn't see him quit. I saw them almost stop the round fight at the end of the 3rd round. And I was like, no way. And then he's back out there and back to being dangerous. So yeah, this is a crazy sport.
For many fans, Georges St-Pierre provided one of the most valuable insights after the fight. Rather than speculating, he spoke from personal experience about what it's like to compete with impaired vision. When your eyesight is compromised, depth perception changes, movement becomes more difficult, and judging distance is no longer reliable. In a championship fight, there's no opportunity to slow down and adapt. You simply do your best to survive. That perspective also helps explain why so many people respected the determination Ilia Topuria showed by continuing to compete despite the damage.